Every single person watching this video right now either has been or will be involved with a power outage, and they suck. If it's really cold outside, you have no heat. Your food, it can go bad in the refrigerator, the freezer. God forbid the Wi-Fi goes out and the kids can't play their stupid games. And a couple of years ago, I had a power outage that lasted a few days, and it was an absolute nightmare. So I couldn't even imagine what some of these people were going through in the South that got hit by hurricanes. It's just a nightmare. Now, soon after we lost power, I started bringing battery packs to the channel. Battery-powered power supplies, gas-powered power supplies. I really wanted to show people how to bring power back into their homes. Now, some of the battery-powered supply banks that I brought to the channel, they were great, and some of them were not great. They actually sucked. But the one I'm about to show you today is different from anything else I've ever brought to this channel before. Not only am I gonna show you how you can power your home, I'm gonna show you how this is actually gonna save you money. This, my friends, is the Anker SOLIX F3800. And in today's video, I'm going to show you everything you can do with this unit and some things that you can't do with this unit. But I'm even going to go one step further in this video today, my friends. I'm going to try to make it understandable to you. A lot of other reviewers, they take these things and they'll start talking to big words like phases and inputs and electricity and voltage. I want to make sure that when you watch this video, you completely understand what you have here and what this thing is able to do for you and what it's not able to do for you. I want to make sure that before you decide purchasing this, that you know everything you need to know about this. And look for the captions down on the bottom. If you want the more technical wordage, I'll put that down there for you to read. But I want you to feel comfortable about this before you actually buy it. So let's just get it started. So first off, let's go ahead and take a look at this piece of equipment. I think personally, visually, the thing is gorgeous. This is something that you can put in your home or your apartment. You can run the electricity from it, and it's not an eyesore. It actually looks pretty freaking cool. It's a dark gray and gray shell. You got a super cool looking bright LED screen. You got this blue light up here that you can turn on or off with the app. I'll show you that later, but it's like ambiance. Up on the top, you got this carbon fiber look, and on the back, it's sleek and real nice like. And this thing is also super portable. So you have two small casters here with locks on the front, so this thing won't move around on you. And on the back, you have some wheels that are a little bit larger, so you can tote this thing around. And it comes with this cool little handle up on top. You just push the button, this thing will extend out. And this will allow you to tote this thing around, so if you're going camping, tailgating, whatever you're doing, you can move it around using the casters and this. You also have the rubber pads up on the top. So say you're transporting this and you wanted to lay this down in the back of your van. Well, you could absolutely do that. And on the bottom of this thing, they gave you a hidden handle so you can have somebody help you lift this thing up. Now, I would definitely say get somebody to help you move this thing around because the thing weighs like 132 pounds. And the only reason I'm able to do this myself is because I'm a man. Actually, my wife's stronger than me. I would have her do this instead. So as far as it goes with like the looks of this thing, I think it looks awesome. I would not be embarrassed to have this in my house. And the other thing about having this in your house is this 100% completely safe. There's no fumes coming out of this thing. There's no gas fumes. There's no carbon monoxide, nothing. So you can run this all day, all night in your house and not have to worry about anything hurting you. And it's also crazy freaking quiet. If you set this thing in a different room, you don't hear it at all. But even when this thing's under load, this fan kicks on, it is silent. All right, so the looks of this thing, it might be important to some, but it's not important to a lot of other people. You want to get to the meat and potatoes of this thing. So let me show you all the features, how this thing works, the limitations, and I'm even going to try to power up my entire house using a transfer switch and this bad boy right here. So first up, let's talk about the screen. This thing is super easy to use. Anybody can use this. You also have a phone app, which I'm gonna show you here, but let's just go over this first. On the front of this unit, you're gonna have your on-off switch. That's right here. This here is your display, so if you don't want to see any light, you just push that. That'll turn on and off. This right here is how to hook up the Bluetooth and all that good stuff. I'll show you that. This is your car socket, so you would just open this up like such, plug in whatever you need, and then that's your on and off button for the car socket. So here you have 3 C ports. It says IQ. I'll tell you about that here in a second. Then you have your USBs. What's nice about this is that this is their pure sine wave. And you don't have to worry about the power fluctuations hurting your electronics like your phone, your computers, your laptops, your iPads. You don't have to worry about that. Very clean energy, and you don't have to worry about the damage that you would get from a surge. All right, so from the front, let's move it to the right side panel and show you what's going on right here. This is something that I've never seen on any power panel before. Remember, I got the captions down here for all the technical stuff, but I'm gonna explain this to you very simply. This outlet, 240, you can run RV, you can charge an EV car on this. This one here, which I will show you more in a bit, you can plug this in to your house and actually power your house. you got 6 outlets. You got 20 amp row, 20 amp row. So if you are plugging a bunch of things in, you want to stagger them. Put one over here, one over here, one over here, one over there. And these are your reset buttons. So if you ever seen a fuse blown, well, all you do is push that and it literally resets the unit. And up on the top right here, this is another on-off button. So each one of these panels have their own on-off button. So not everything's running at the exact same time. So if I don't want to use this, just push that button and it shuts it off. And on the other side of the unit, this is where the other cool stuff happens. Now this right here, let me open this. So this is very, very, very cool. We're going to talk a little bit about this here in a bit, but this will actually hook up to a smart box. We'll get to that later. This right here is where you plug the unit in to charge from your AC outlets. The charging cord comes with this unit. You don't have to worry about any charging bricks or proprietary charging cords or anything. You can buy these very cheap if you lose this. And all you do to plug this thing in is, well, plug it in. You're going to take this, plug this in up on top, and then plug this end into your extension cord or outlet. These right here, which a lot of people don't talk about, this is where you're going to plug in your solar. And this is really cool how they did this, and we'll talk about that here. But this right here is for an expansion battery. Basically, if you wanted to make this thing more powerful, bigger, longer runtime, this is what you would be using. Again, we'll talk about that. So firstly, let's talk about charging this unit or how to feed power into this unit so you can charge it up. So again, the first way would be to plug it into your AC outlet. Now this very large battery bank will charge very quickly under the AC load. You can see I'm putting the text down here, but you just plug this in, it's charging at 1800 watts. Now I did a run test on this. It only took me like 2.5 hours to fully charge this thing. But if you wanted to charge it even faster, well, you can use the solar, believe it or not. You have 2 different solar inputs here. You can charge up to 2400 watts. And it used to be that you couldn't charge using AC and the solar at the same time, but they changed that. Now you can. It was a firmware upgrade. So yes, you can charge using your AC, or if you wanted to take that off the grid a little bit and you wanted to charge either only solar or solar and AC to do a little bit faster, you can do that. We'll talk more about the solar panels and how to hook them up, but I do want to let you know, you see these numbers here? Anker already makes solar panels that you can use with this, but if you wanted to buy your own solar panels or if you wanted to use the solar panels that you already have, these are the numbers you're looking at. 11 to 32 volt or 32 to 60 volt. It'll say that on the back of your panels. The 11 to 32 volt, you're only going to charge at 10 amps, so slower. 32 to 60 volt, you're going to charge at 25 amps, so it's going to be faster. Now, I just want to be honest with you. A lot of people, they'll claim that you have to have this and that and spend all the money on this. You don't. I have very cheap solar panels. I have more expensive solar panels. I have 200 watts. I have 100 watts. They all worked fine on this. However, what you do want to remember is that you want to charge these parallel, not series. Remember, I'm trying to keep this as easy as possible. There's a couple different ways you can hook up your solar panels. Now, hooking up solar panels, they are super simple to do, but there's a couple different ways to do it. You can do it series or parallel. I want you to remember, if you decide to purchase this, you want to do it parallel. Just a real quick breakdown real quick. Series is when you take the solar panels and you're running the positive into the next positive and then that, and then it's sort of like a chain. That's fine if you got a solar farm. I don't do it like that. I usually hook mine up parallel anyway, and let me show you how that works. So in the package, Anker is going to give you these splitters here. What you do not get in the box is this cord. I'll put a link in the description for this. It's very cheap. But how this works is I'm going to take this plug-in piece and I'm going to plug it into my box. Because I have this plugged into the box, all the electricity that I'm going to generate with my solar panel is going to go up through this wire into this piece right here. You can do this twice. You can put one here, you can put one here. I'll explain why that's important. On the other side of this cable, you're going to have some MC4 cables, and these are super easy to use. So what happens is, when you're doing parallel, you have these splitters. This one here is the female, this is the male. That's going to go in the end of this part of the cord, like such. And then you're going to take the male, put it into the female here, and now you have your splitters. So now the easy part, once you take your solar panel out, they should have a male and a female. You plug the male in here, you plug the female into here, and then you can put another solar panel, male, female, male, female. You can hook 3 different solar panels up to this. And that's all you have to do to plug your solar panels into this box. It's not very complicated. I think some people make it more complicated than it needs to be, and that's not real nice like. The other thing I really like about this is, say you have a couple 200-watt solar panels that you want to hook together. Well, you can put them on one circuit, or if you had a bunch of 100-watt solar panels that you wanted to hook up separately, you can hook them up to the other side and they wouldn't interfere with each other. So that's also really, really awesome that they added this to this system. But there is something that I need to point out on this side. There are some limitations. I'm going to try to make this as easy as I possibly can. There are some limitations when it comes to AC charging. So if I were to plug this into the wall and start charging this unit, I cannot discharge my 240. This will not work when my AC cord is plugged into the unit. This side of your outlet here will not work. However, the UPS on this side, the 3 outlets, will work while you're charging off of your AC cord. However, the good thing about this is that the DC, when you're charging this up using the solar panels, well, then that's a different ball game. Everything will work if you're charging this off of the solar panels. This will work, this will work. All of these will work. So next up, let me show you the app real quick. We'll go over that, and then I'm gonna show you how I hook this up to my house, how it works, and then we're gonna talk about how this thing will actually save you money. It can pay itself off very quickly. So firstly, the Anker app is super easy to install and use. You can see that this is the SOLIX F3800 here, and I have another one over here, the C1000 that I did a video on. But they connect Wi-Fi or Bluetooth, so you can control this thing even if you're not at home. You click on this, and I want to point out that you can use this without the app. You do not need to use the app for this machine. But if you do use the app, it gives you a few more controls. So you can see the DC input and output, which the screen will tell you the exact same thing. It'll tell you how much power you're bringing in and how much power you're putting out. It'll tell you what zones are on, your AC, your carport, your USBs. You can set the screen, you can time it out, you can put an alarm or a timer on it that'll just shut off automatically. And then the brightness here is just that blue light. So if I were to hit brightness, it would just shut that off. Doesn't really do anything, it just looks kind of cool. Tells you how much power you have in here, whether it's charging or discharging, how cold or warm the battery is up inside here, and then your settings up here. Recharging power, you can set this all the way down. If you want 1800 watts, you can bring this all the way down to a 200 watt, and it would charge a lot slower. Device timeout, screen brightness, Wi-Fi, temperature, all that stuff. So it just gives you a little bit more, and of course the firmware updates, which would be pretty important. All right, so let's go hook this up to the house and see what it does. So this is super simple to do, and again, this thing's easy to move around. I got the casters and the wheels. I moved this out on the back where I have my transfer switch. So basically, I put this in. It was really easy to do. If you're not comfortable doing it, hire an electrician. It just runs into the main panel, and we're going to backfeed this into the main panel once we have a power outage. So I also created this cord, and they're super simple to do as well, but you can buy these if you wanted to. I believe even Anker has one. But you're going to plug this end directly into your 240 over here. And what that's going to do is going to transfer that energy from that box, from the Anker SOLIX, into that cord, into this inlet switch right here, the transfer switch, whatever you want to call it. So now I have to go down into my electrical panel. This is what feeds the entire house. I'm just going to open this up, and you can see I have a safety switch over here. I have to shut the main breaker off first. You never want to backfeed those lines. This thing's like 12 bucks on Amazon, very simple to install. But you're going to shut that main breaker off. You don't want both of these breakers on at the same time. You're going to flip that off. And now we're completely pitch black here, my friends. I'm a little scared, spooky. And then now we have to flip this switch up to make sure that we don't accidentally backfeed the lines. There's a ton of different videos out there on YouTube, so I'm not going to get too far in depth with that. But you can see nothing's working. The lights are off. My television's not working. My light switch ain't working. That's not real nice. I ain't got no power. The entire house is powerless. So now what I need, look in my refrigerator. I don't want my milk to spoil. How would I eat my cereal? All right, so now that we got everything switched over in the basement, we got to plug the machine into the house. So again, this is going to go in. This is a 25 amp. It comes out of here. My breaker that I installed for this setup was actually a 30 amp. You can go up to 50 amp if you want. It'll still work. It'll feed you power, but we're going to put this in and then just twist it. Now, once you got that hooked up, all you're going to do is hit the main power on the front of the box and then go over to the side of the panel like I showed you before, and you're just going to hit the little start button up on there and kick on that panel because, again, they're separated, which is a good thing. Hit that, and it's ready to go. Now that everything's hooked up, I should be feeding power into the house. Let me take a look at the screen here, and again, you can see this on the app if you wanted to. I'm going to adjust this display. You can set the timer for this thing to go out. You can run it constantly or set it up for an hour. This is like 10 seconds or whatever. But anyway, so you can see the output, I'm putting out 700 watts, right? So average 700 watts. It's telling me I have 4.8 hours. Now, I'm going to turn on more lights. My hot water tank was going. My refrigerators are going. You can see that my lights are working just fine. There you go. Those are garage lights. Pretty bright lights, by the way. We're going to go turn on everything else. Our refrigerator's automatically kicked on, both of them, and my deep freezer. I got my lights and my fans going on in my house. I got the outside lights. I got the recessed lights coming down in the house. It goes the whole way around the front, the back, all that good stuff. They draw some power. My boy's Xbox was turned on. Everything. His fan was running to keep it cool. But you can see I'm drawing 760-ish watts out. So it's telling me I have 4.3 hours left. Now, most power outages, at least around me anyway, they last probably, I don't know, 2, 3, possibly 4 hours. I have had a couple that went 4 days. But with the hot water tank running, I'm getting 719 watts out at 4.5 hours. There you go. That's the fan, the lights, the Xbox is going, right? That thing draws. The refrigerator, stoves, everything will work. Now, what's nice about this is that I have my TV, I have my Wi-Fi, everything's running, but I don't have to worry about fumes. You can see the Wi-Fi right there. It's all lit up. I don't have to worry about fumes. And if it's a quick power outage, I can make my coffee. I can still do my thing, but I don't have to worry about the fumes or lugging a heavy generator or a loud generator. Maybe you're in an apartment and you can't run that, but all my lights are running. My printer's working. Everything in my house is working. But you can see now that my hot water tank's not heating up right now and all that good stuff, I'm only at 325 watts, so it bumped up to 8. Come on, focus, camera. 8 hours, 8.9 hours, so almost 9 hours of runtime. This is telling me I have. So what I want to do is I actually want to throw my furnace on. I want to see what happens with the furnace being ran. All right, let's kick this up. I usually keep my furnace at around 69 degrees. It's expensive to run all that heat, but I'm kicking up to 72 degrees. Now, what I'm seeing here is that my output is at 915. That's with my furnace going full max right now. At 69 degrees, it's going up to 72 degrees. It's telling me I still have 3.5 hours. So with the entire house running in, with the heater going, the furnace going, I'm still at 3.5 hours. And I can adjust this down to 69 or whatever. But I'm still at 3.5 hours. So if you are in a 2-hour power outage and it's negative 20 degrees outside, you can still run this heater nonstop and get 3.6 hours out of it, which is insanity. Let me say something else. It's real nice-like. But let's be honest here. You're not going to be running your heater for 4 hours straight. It's going to shut down. So when it shuts down, I went back to 14 watts, which is going to give me like 6.7 hours, 7 hours. And that is still without this being recharged. Don't forget, we got solar on this thing. So if it's sunny outside, you can recharge this thing. Well, let's just do that. Oh, wait a minute. Before I do that, look, I can open up my garage. You ain't stuck in the house now. If I got to get my car in and out, now you ain't got no excuse for being late to work because you can't get your garage door open. See that? Yeah. All right, so it's a pretty sunny day. I guess I'm overcast. It's November in Ohio, so it's not like June in the summertime, right? But I am getting some sun here. And not only is it June, it's early in the morning. I think it was like 9 o'clock in the morning I was doing this. So you can see I'm getting like 323 output, and I was only getting like 255 in it. That was only on 2 panels, but we're going to hook up more panels. And as mentioned earlier in the video, I have all my 100-watt panels hooked together on the one phase, and then all of my other panels, my 200-watt panels hooked together and going in the other input. All right, so let's just make this easy and talk about, can this run your house and how long can it run your house? Well, number one, yes, it could run my entire house. My heater was kicking on, my furnace was kicking on, I had 2 refrigerators going, no issue. I didn't have any issues with this thing blowing out or popping a fuse. It can handle a ton of stuff. With my heater running, I was pulling like 1,700 watt hours. My hot water tank was running. I had my refrigerators, I had my Wi-Fi, I had my lights on, everything was fine. Let's say I turned my heater down and I was trying not to run it. Just the lights, the Wi-Fi, charging my phone up normally and all that good stuff. I could run this thing easily for 8 to 9 hours powering my basic necessities. I don't want my meat to spoil in the freezer. So I could run that and still have plenty of power. But here's a really cool screenshot I want to show you. The 3800, I'm bringing in 526 watts of power. I'm putting out 226 watts of power, which means that I'm actually bringing in more power and charging this unit. You can see the remaining charge time up on top. Within 2 hours and 36 minutes, this unit will be fully charged again using solar power only. And what's cool about that is in the daytime, you don't need all your lights anyway, so you're gonna shut those off, you're gonna be saving more power, so this thing will charge fairly quickly if you have a nice sunny day. But here's yet another thing that sets this apart from the other units out on the market. With the 6,000 watts out and the 9,000 startup, you can expand this to 12,000 watts out if you needed to run all of your heavy appliances at the same time. But here's the crazy part, and this is how you can pay this thing off fairly quickly. Do you remember that plug-in on the side that we showed you earlier? Well, what that does is you can actually attach this to the Anker Smart Home box. And basically what this does, if you're paying higher rates for your electricity on peak hours, say 2 p.m. to 8 p.m., you can power your entire home using this unit. And what it would do using that smart box, it would automatically switch off the grid and this would kick on, powering your house during the higher price times of the day. And then when the off peak hits, it'll literally switch back to the grid automatically. And when you're off peak, it will charge this unit up automatically and you're paying less for it, reducing your electric bill. And yes, on top of charging your EVs or powering your RVs, this thing will run your power tools. I'm running a 12-inch miter saw with no issues at all. And yes, you can move this thing around and use it as a standalone unit only if you wanted to. You don't have to plug it into anything if you don't want to. Just take it with you and use it for the power that you need it for. And that, my friends, well, that's real nice. So all in all, this is the coolest unit, the most powerful unit, and for the price, it's like $1,000 off. Again, I'll leave a link in the description below. You can't beat this thing for it being expandable, portable, this cool plug that you can put the smart home and all together and extend this thing. And they did an amazing job. The way they put this thing together, it is really, really awesome to see the technology that's coming out and that you got the 2 phases on here. You can run a welder on here. You can power your home on here. You can charge your EV on here, run your RV on here. It's really awesome. So let me know what you think in the comment section below. Anker is just crushing it right now. I think they're doing a great job. And yeah, that handle right there. Come on, man. So let me know what you think about this in the comment section below. I'll leave another video for you right here. And yeah, we'll be back with more videos soon.